Hey guys! First off, I would like to thank you for being with me today. Now, let's take a moment and think about what the world would be like without news. Without knowing what's going on around the world, without knowing what's going on around the city, without knowing what the weather's going to be like today. It's kind of scary to not be in the know, right? Well, thanks to broadcast journalism and everyone involved in that field, we get our news any time of the day through apps, through your local TV station, through any kind of service, anything. That's all involved in broadcast journalism. Not only do we get the news from them, but we can get music from them, radio shows, radio stations, TV shows, entertainment, all sorts of things. And that's why I love it, and that's why I chose it, because it's such a hands-on job, and it can really help you develop real-world skills. One of my favorite things about broadcast journalism, and that is such a hands-on job. The knowledge of how to work a computer and an editing program is very important. But instead of having to study a book for hours and hours, which I know is very tedious, you can get to play around on a computer all day, testing out different ways of how to edit, how to be creative, how to film, just all of this fun stuff. And I'm such a hands-on learner that it's really easy for me to pick up. My broadcast class my first broadcast class was in high school. I was a senior and I didn't want to take any kind of actual real class, and I was like, well, let's just take broadcast, because ever since I was a kid, I had documented my life through film. I did all sorts of videos. I've edited all sorts of movies, so to speak, that I would just do for the fun of it. And so I decided to take it, and my first assignment was this thing called a bumper, which goes in the middle of two TV segments as just a way to kind of transition from one to the next. Just a silly random little thing that goes in between. And the first one I ever made was definitely not that great. I didn't even make it by myself. I just said, hey, let's do this, and they did it, and I didn't even get to really edit it. I just kind of did a few things. But by the end of the year, I had made a whole newscast by myself. That meant that I got the anchors ready, I got the filming done, I did everything, and it was all 4 weeks for 10 minutes of a video. But I mean, it was really good, and I was really proud of myself, because after just a year, I had made that much progress. And it takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice to do this whole thing of broadcast. I mean, it's really difficult, but it's a matter of memorizing all of the steps, and knowing broadcast lingo is very important too, because there are a lot of words that not many could tell the meaning of, such as cue up, cold copy, dub, bumper, like I just said. It's like a personal language that you get to share with your broadcast friends, and that's another reason I love it, is just because when you're in broadcast, you get really close to certain people just because you kind of share that passion, you share that lingo, you share that love. And that's definitely one of the reasons I love broadcasting. And without experience in a real world situation, you won't get the proactive involvement that you need in order to be the best broadcast journalist. And so that's why I have done countless radio shows. I am involved in my community theater where I live, and we would go up there and we would do a radio show, and we would have to talk about when the show was, how much the tickets were, the dates and everything. It was a really neat experience because it wasn't just an advertisement. It was like having a conversation with the radiocaster, and I thought that was just amazing to me. I also did radio commercials because I was a career apprentice for one of my teachers who happens to work with the radio, and so I would make advertisements, and I would do halftime reports for the high school, and I also was an anchor for my high school news station, and that was a lot of fun. That was all something different and new to me. Just a great experience in what I'm going into now. And I've also made tons of videos and edits and bumpers and stuff like that. So it was good for me to have all of that experience. All of this good experience is to make me a better speaker, to be better at coming up with ideas, creative ideas, and to just become a people person. And I love being an inspiration to people. I love helping people as much as I can, and this is one way that I feel that I could really reach out to some people, and I hope to someday make a difference in the world. Not only is broadcast journalism my major, but it is something I'm so fascinated and very passionate about doing. You have to have a passion, you have to have patience, and you for something like this being because it could mean hours of editing and doing everything you can for the latest news, for the latest stories to inform people when they're watching because they want to know what's going on around the world. And I hope that one day I can inspire people by my stories and make a difference in the world we live in. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.